One of the biggest things that I overlooked in my PC setup was audio. And that was actually one of the biggest mistakes I think that I had made, because for me, audio was just something that you sort of had to have. I mean, you need to have some sort of speakers. You can use great headphones and get really good results, but I also wanted to have sound come at me as well. And for a very, very, very long time, I rolled with Logitech 2.1 speakers, nothing particularly special, old school ones like you see on your screen now. And that is what I rolled with, and I was pretty happy with that. It sounded good, it sounded fine. It had a little bit of bass, which was okay, but it wasn't until Claire Obscure Expedition 33 and the soundtrack of that game that drew me into updating my audio system for my PC. That game is a mind-blowing soundtrack, and it was music that I didn't really think that I would ever be interested in my life. And you know a game is good when it comes out with a soundtrack that makes you enjoy music that you had no interest in. So get on that, play that game if you haven't already. But this forced me to update my audio setup. And then I went on a search. How can I get a really good cheap system set up? You know how I work, I want cost effectiveness. And I started to look down the road of what most people go to, which is Edifier. And there's a lot of different Edifier speakers, which are really good, by the way. And for me, I was looking at the 2.1 setup with the extra subwoofer. I think it was like $380 something Australian. And I was like, yep, okay, that looks pretty good. I'll probably go with that. But then I was like, hang on. Like, there might be another way. How can we custom do something? And this is what I do. I go on a little bit of a mission to see if I can get something better for the money. That's what I did. So we got on Facebook Marketplace. We started hitting up just anything we could find, really, and like bookshelf speakers. We went on a big search to see what's really high quality, what's middle of the road. Is there really that big a difference between super high quality and middle of the road or low quality? And you know, what's a good middle ground? And then I actually started to figure out that, hey, look, you know, like home theater looks like more the way to go. And like you can get good quality bookshelf speakers, even from a home theater setup, either as front speakers or as rear speakers. You can use those. And some guys on Facebook Marketplace, like some people are just giving those away. They're so cheap that it's just like, maybe I should pick that up. So I had a look and I come across a good set of bookshelf speakers from a guy who was massively into audio. He was crazy into audio, actually. And that's what sort of gave me the confidence to go, I'm going to buy from this guy, because he said he's just got way too much equipment. And he just wants to get rid of it. And he said they sound really good, and I had to listen to these bookshelf speakers, which are Australian made too, which is kind of strange. But yeah, we picked those up, and I also ended up picking up a subwoofer off him as well. And it's not huge power, it's not going to blow your socks off, but it is for PC gaming. It's probably a little bit overkill, to be honest. But yeah, especially in a little room, it's pretty wild. And that's the kind of sound that you want, the sound that draws you in and it's got super good clarity. And this is not super high-end audiophile ridiculous stuff. I picked the speakers up, the bookshelf speakers. They were $70. The guy just gave them to me when I bought the sub off him. I bought the sub for $70. And we're talking, I think it's a 10-inch sub in a box, in a sealed box. I'll have a look at the power and I'll put the all the specs up, but it's nothing special, you know. And then so I picked that up, which is awesome. And they're called AccuSound. You can't buy them anymore, but any sort of bookshelf speakers that are a half decent brand is going to be good enough for this, and it's going to be, I feel, a little bit may be better than Edifier, but it may not be. It may be just as good. But it was a bit cheaper, $140, and I've got a big 10-inch sub and some really big bookshelf speakers. And then I was like, okay, I need an amp to drive these because you're going to need an amplifier. So usually like the edifiers come with a built-in amplifier, but if you go for a system like this, you're going to need an external amplifier. And I just went with I think it's called an SPDIF connector that actually plugged into my motherboard on the onboard sound, straight from there into the amplifier. And I'll show you the connector and everything that I used. It only does 1080p audio. It's not HDMI, and some amplifiers you can get HDMI would be a lot better. But I just went with this because it already sounded good on my home theater that I have here as well. And I was like, this is going to sound pretty good either way. It's not going to be that bad. And the amplifier I picked up really, really cheap as well because of the fact that it didn't really have the HDMI input. The sound quality is really good out of the unit, but it's a little bit older technology, like pretty old actually. It's more like 10 years old or something. But who cares? When it's just plugged into a PC, it's only got one job to do, and that's all it's going to do. It is a big unit though, so you got to be prepared to install these big units somewhere. And I just sat mine underneath my desk with the amplifier on the sub, and it sits there quite fine, and there's no issues as long as you don't hit your legs on it. You're pretty good. But yeah, so we hooked it all up. It is a Yamaha amplifier hooked up to the sub, and just RCA into the sub, and then just some good quality speaker wire out to the bookshelf speakers. Not wireless, but you know what? Who cares? Because I picked up this amplifier for, I think it was $40, $50 Australian. So that's like nothing. We've got two speakers now for $70 bookshelf, big chappies, wood speakers. We got a sub, big 10-inch, and we've got the amplifier as well. The amplifier was like 50, sub was 70, speakers were 70. What's that? 140, 180. We're about half the price of edifiers, and the sound quality, we'll go over that in a minute. But I wanted some other way to mount these speakers because they were so big that I couldn't fit them on my desk. So I had to spend a little bit more money. The edifiers would have fit on my desk, no worries. But these ones, they're a lot bigger. So I ended up picking up some speaker stands that were just Amazon specials, but I got them from some guy locally, was just getting rid of them. I think they were $30 he gave them to me for. So we're still well under the price of edifiers. And I will tell you right now, the sound quality, for me, it's a massive quality, power, sound difference than the old Logitechs for one. Absolutely crushes them out of the water. And it's honestly overkill. Like it is so clear, and if you want to get some volume, you will wake up your neighbors. It is wild. And games like Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 sounds like the sound sucks you into the game. It literally it brings you into the game. It sounds like they are at your ears. It's very hard to describe, but the atmosphere is absolutely wild. And made me start playing old games again because the sound never drew me in like it does now. So any story-driven game will absolutely blow your socks off when you have a really good sound setup. I would highly recommend it because it's something that I overlooked, and I kind of regret that I did that now because, yeah, this cost me less than a good set of speakers and a sub that you can buy at retail, and it blows the doors off a lot of PC speakers just in general. So while it may seem like a lot of money, for what you get for your money and the experience you get when you're playing games now is wild, absolutely wild. And I have a good set of speakers behind me on the sim rig. I've got the Logitech 906s, which have a 10-inch sub or an 8-inch sub and 5 satellites. They sound really good on the sim, but this blows the doors off even those, which surprised me a lot, because they're still $500 Australian dollars in shops, and they've been around for 15 years, I swear. But this is just a total different experience. So I would recommend, bang for buck, 100%. Go find yourself some good medium quality home theater speakers. Get yourself a half decent amp that's rated for it. Make sure the power lines up so you're getting the most out of the speakers. Pick up a half decent quality sub and hook it all up, and it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. You guys will be enjoying the game so much more, and yeah, it's just a different experience altogether. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That was just a quick one. Like and subscribe if this helped, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.